Hello everyone, welcome back to the Jak and Daxter marathon. But this is the last Jak and Daxter game in our marathon. And funnily enough, it doesn't even have Jak in it. Well, it barely has Jak in it. You know, the more I think about it, I should have done the Lost Frontier as the last in the marathon. So that way the marathon starts with the game titled Jak and Daxter, and then ends with one titled Jak and Daxter. But never mind. I'm glad the order that I did it in, for reasons as I'm about to explain. So I played and recorded the whole of the Lost Frontier on an emulator, as my PS2 copy ended up looking like dried up seaweed. All was fine, the emulator was great and performed fantastically for the Lost Frontier, and even great while playing Daxter. But it was when I went to play Daxter for the third time that Apple had actually blocked the emulator. I'm so annoyed. But let me explain what this means before we get started with the video. I only have 2 hours of gameplay recorded in full HD. Now I had the idea to play the whole game again on the PlayStation Vita to screenshot key moments. But screenshots on the PS Vita won't work on PSP games. So I've had to literally take photos of my PlayStation Vita screen using my camera. Honestly, I felt so disheartened and I'm really annoyed I won't have clips from the end of the game, only screenshots. But I have done the best I could and I still feel that the video was worth making, as I had done the whole Jak series up to this one and I was not going to be defeated on my final game. So without further ado, let's attempt to review Daxter on the PSP. / 2 hours on the emulator / the rest of it on PS Vita, but I only have the screenshots to show for it. So, Daxter takes place in the 2 years between Jak 1 and 2, as a way to explain what Daxter was actually doing in that time. All we knew prior to this was that Daxter was, in his own words,
Jak, it's me, Daxter! That's a fine hello. I've been crawling around in this place, risking my tail, literally, to save you. I've been looking for you for 2 years!
But that's not exactly true, is it, Daxter? In fact, I'm going to dive straight into this with my biggest pet hate, and that is that Daxter completely forgot about Jak.
By the way, was I supposed to pick you up something at the store? Yak cow milk, maybe? Or some old guy fiber? I keep thinking I've forgotten to do something. You know, something important. I can't help but think... Jak! That's it! Hang on, buddy!
Now, why did they do this? Were they trying to be funny? Who knows? But the only thing it did for me, and still does now, is wind me up. But whatever, they decided to skip the term completely, and other than that and forgetting Jak, how is the story? It's good, honestly, it's good. It's just being such a heavy Jak and Daxter fan, things that are supposed to be nice nods to the other games only prove to annoy me, and in my opinion, make very little sense. Like Daxter meeting the lurker whose name I can't even remember, because he seems to have completely forgotten even meeting him in Jak 2. The only thing I do like is the cutscene where Errol and Count Vega are seen discussing Dark Eco Trials and then Jak. This is a nice fix to the future games, as in Jak 3 Count Vega comes out of literally nowhere, but knowing that Daxter now exists, it shows us he was around before Jak 2, we just never saw him on our screens in Jak 2. The characters are a mixed batch. Some of them are really good, like Osmo and his son, whereas others are bland and literal rip-offs of previous characters. So we've touched on the story and the characters. How's the gameplay? Well, Daxter feels really good. He's given an electric bug swatter and bug spray that later gets more upgrades, one of which allowing it to become a flamethrower. His main objective is to exterminate bugs in each levels, with some adding objectives here and there. The bugs are types of metalheads, but not the ones that we're used to in Jak 2 and 3. These ones are creepy little ones that come in a lot of different variety, and it isn't until the end of the game where we actually see a normal metalhead. But that's okay though, because these metal-headed bugs are creepy enough. The levels are fantastic, all having their own atmosphere and feel to them. Even returning ones like the Baron's Palace feel unique as you experience places that were never shown in this much great detail in Jak 2. There's some driving levels from time to time, and even awesome dream-styled levels that are play on from movies, which is a really nice and fun feature. When not in the levels, the free roam area is Haven City from Jak 2 and Jak 3, but a large portion of it is blocked off. However, don't be disheartened. This is okay because you have to remember it's already 10 times larger than it was before, as Daxter is tiny compared to it. You have a small portion of the city and a small portion of the dock, both of which have been adapted to the PSP perfectly and adds a fresh feel to these already recognisable areas. The overall game is a really fun experience, but goddamn, it would be almost nothing if it wasn't backed up by such a perfect soundtrack. Each level has its own unique soundtrack to it, that are so recognizable and great, I could hear nearly every track and tell you instantly which level it's from. It's not the longest game, but what can you expect from a PSP title? There's plenty to do though after you've beat the main game, like going back and finding all of the 1000 precursor orbs, or gold medaling all of the dream levels to unlock Daxter's pants. Overall, I'd say Daxter is a really fun experience, let down by the fact it's supposed to link between Jak 1 and 2, but ends up completely skipping most of it, but only starting to link this game and Jak 2 towards the last quarter of the game, which to me is a great letdown. But the gameplay, level design and music is all enough to bring this game up to a 7 out of 10. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is unfortunately the last Jak and Daxter game we had to cover, which will sadly end my Jak and Daxter marathon. It had been a real blessing to cover all 6 titles in this series. I've enjoyed every second of them, and yes, even this one to my surprise. I'm just really sad it's all over, and really am sorry for this one being kind of flopped. Having to have screenshots from the end of the game and only gameplay from the start of the game on the screen has really annoyed me. But it was either that or scrap the video entirely, which almost came to be, but I'm so glad I stuck by it. We've made it this far, we've covered every single game, and I was not going to be defeated on my final hurdle. Now you might be asking, Cardo Gaming, what's next? Well, if you've noticed at the end of the last video, and possibly the one before that, if not you will see it in a minute, I've had a card that will show you the next 2 game reviews that are in the line, and if you've already seen it you'll know, but Ratchet and Clank will be the next series in my marathon. However, I will just clarify, it will only be the original trilogy. I dipped into this series before, making it all the way to Quest for Booty, which that one is still up, and the only one that's still up, but it wore me out, and when watching them back, I just couldn't keep them up, as they were not at a good standard to my own personal liking. So I'll be revisiting and reviewing the first 3 Ratchet and Clank games. So as I close, I will once again say thank you for joining me on this Jak and Daxter marathon, and don't forget, if you haven't seen the other reviews, they are all in a playlist and can also be found as links in the description. I hope to see you all in the Ratchet and Clank marathon. Drop this video a like if you enjoyed and subscribe to stay up to date. It is not just the Ratchet and Clank marathon that we have. There are other exciting games coming out soon, brand new ones, such as Crash 4 and a brand new Ben 10 game. If you haven't seen it, we've reviewed every single Ben 10 game and they've all done pretty well. So of course I'm going to be playing the first one. So of course I'm going to be playing the new one. I'll be reviewing it. I'll be releasing the whole game. So look forward to that one. Drop this video if you enjoyed it and subscribe to stay up to date. Thank you everybody for watching and goodbye for now. Have a wonderful day. Cardo Games signing out.